and it's a hit, it's a blockbuster hit, you're like, all right, well, that's that guy. He's the funny guy, or he's the Napoleon Dynamite guy. Like, that's just how you think of people, and you look at Unicorns, you're like, well, they're the jungle TF team. See if they pull something out.
Why are teams banning Lulu on blue side? It's been happening all day today. I'm not...
Well, I don't know why. You tell me, Saint. We brought you on this desperate reason.
So I'm not really sure either. No. Gangplank on blue side is really odd, too. So CLG... They might have some info from scrims that we do not, because Gangplank has been a very powerful pick, but it's very slow to scale and it's very vulnerable in the early to mid stages of the game.
I mean, the thing that's confused me most today is the utter lack of Ryze pick and ban. I mean, this is a very potent champion that has just fallen off the wayside, and it's not following the pattern that the Kespa Cup was in on this very same patch.
I feel like you have to be a Ryze player to play Ryze. I've seen a lot, like after Faker played Ryze, I was like, wow, I can do it too. I'm a great Ryze player. And then they tried to play Ryze, and it's like, why is this 0-15 guy in my game? I can't believe this. So I kind of feel like that's why.
I mean, also with the Lulu and the GP, I mean, if you were to possibly make an argument, and we've seen SKT do this sometimes, even them when they play EasyUn or when they play Faker, those ban out certain things that they know EasyUn just isn't going to play, but is strong in the current meta, like other assassins or whatnot.
Oh, there's the Ryze right there.
Finally.
And there is the Ryze. The Kindred was banned out.
Yeah.
The Elise.
I guess maybe Xmithie doesn't play Kindred? Not too sure.
Maybe.
It's kind of sad.
should everyone be playing Kindred?
Yeah, it's so... I mean, not only is it like an amazing champion, when I go into solo queue and I play jungle, I'm like, if I don't get Kindred, I don't even want to play jungle. Because that's just how fun it is. It's so fun.
Well, it does change the nature of the draft pretty substantially, though, because it's such a unique champion in the jungle that it does allow you to actually have some more flexibility in your solo lanes and open up picks that you might not otherwise have, because high damage viable junglers are a rarity.
That's
so
true.
It allows you maybe to go with more tanks than you otherwise would be in the current meta out of your solo lanes.
Well, I think that just goes to Xmithie's playstyle more. I mean, he's obviously known as a Gragas player. He played pretty much almost every game that it was up. He played, Echo and Gragas every single game last season, so... I'm not too surprised to see that here, or the preference for it.
All right, and just signing things through some fan favorites. Not so positive we'll see those locked in. Tristana would be more in line. Nothing else too interesting except for the Ryze. We'll have to see how Huhi does. I mean,
it could be top as well.
Oh, could be. You're right.
Some people I've actually seen playing Ryze into Fiora in a lot of the melee matchups. It's actually really good.
Okay.
As long as you don't just get screwed in the early game. The key point is managing the wave and freezing the wave in front of your turret.
I've heard that if you don't lose, then you win.
Well, okay, all right, hold on. Let me rephrase. It's all about managing the wave. Like, the real difference between a good Ryze player and a great Ryze player is how they manage the wave. And all that comes from the level 1 and how you set it up. If the Ryze can get the wave to the point where it's stuck in front of his turret, then you just pretty much won the Ryze lane. It's not about winning the lane or fighting the lane. It's like, I just got to make sure I don't die.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And one of the big reasons that Ryze came to popularity, obviously, in this patch is we see a lot of it be about early tower pressure. And while Ryze himself is really bad at pushing the waves and individually at damaging a tower, when paired with a team, the threat of that chain, point-and-click CC is so great that teams just have to respect that and back off the tower or risk just getting crushed. Because he will lock you down and he will, kill you in an instant. This guy is so strong on the current patch.
Oh, baby, give me that Warwick. Hey, Warwick has played a lot last time.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. For some odd reason.
We talk about those matchups in the top lane, and even though it didn't happen with SKT, I did see Marin playing a lot of Ryze in solo queue around Worlds, so it was at least a threat of a flex pick from SKT, and now the Renekton's in there, and that, Renekton has to get in there to do damage, and he will get rocked by a Ryze if you could just keep straight chaining him down, because the whole point of Renekton trades is to slice in and dice out very quickly, and so you basically slice and stun and try and get out before they have an answer to you, but Ryze really is not going to let him do that, so if it is a top lane Ryze, it could be pretty nice.
Yeah, that's a really good matchup, actually, but I guess they're not going to go with it, but...
Oh, all
right.
Well, they picked Fiora into Renekton, too. That's really odd. A lot of people consider Renekton to be a counter to Fiora just because it's so hard to riposte the Renekton stun, and it's kind of interesting to see them just pick that straight up. Maybe they're going to lane swap or something?
I mean, I feel it is a skill matchup because you can riposte the stun, but it is very hard to detect that animation coming in and be fast enough to do it, so it's tough, for sure.
Yeah, I like the way you put it, though. I mean, if he does get the riposte, then, of course, tides turn immediately. For Unicorns, just looking at one last pick, Morgana, of course, was the last one for CLG. So that's all set. Ryze will be in that mid lane.
I like the Morgana versus Thresh. That's a smart pick. And they picked LeBlanc as well. That's just going to be really good. You can just black shield anybody who tries to go on and pop or chain. And if you hit LeBlanc with a bind as she's coming in, she's instantly dead. So. And they also have a Ryze route as well. So they have a lot of ways of catching LeBlanc out. All right, I'm glad they didn't go to LeBlanc there. Yeah.
Yeah, it was looking a little scary. We're in as we discussed earlier, and if you've been playing League of Legends for even a year and a half, you're going to find out very regularly that Orianna is always going to be a relatively safe pick in mid.
The one thing I will say about Unicorns of Love composition is that they have a lot of power in the early game and a lot of comfort here. Gilius, of course, like most junglers, is comfortable on this Lee Sin pick. Additionally, Hylissang gets up his Thresh, one of those trademark kind of pick, skill shot-based champions. And with all that early game power, it's very possible for this team to find an advantage early and just to keep snowballing that. If they don't, however, we'll see them in a similar situation as we saw LGD, where they'll just start to fall behind as the game moves forward.
Yeah,
okay.
I think CLG has a much better scaling team, too. If they can just maintain the lanes and just not get crushed, I think I just definitely give it to CLG just looking at the ban pick.
Yeah, I got to agree with you.
All right, we'll wait and find out. CLG, can they just hold on just a little bit in the early part to get their first win here in San Jose? Or will Unicorns of Love come out hitting strong in game number 1? Time to find out in this best of 3 between the two teams, ladies and gentlemen. Going over to the commentary desk, it will be Doa, Krepo, and Freak bringing you the game.
All right, thank you, Chobran. We are ready to get into it. Unicorns of Love versus CLG here at IEM San Jose. Of course, I am Doa. There is Freak, and to my right is Krepo. We'll be casting this best of 3 for you, and it's going to be... What did you do behind me? I wasn't even looking into the monitor.
I pointed.
Oh, okay.
That's what happened right there.
I can't take this guy. Anyway, guys, Unicorns of Love versus CLG. A lot of changes on both these teams. Yeah. CLG especially losing Doublelift. This one is extremely, extremely hard to predict.
Yeah, I mean, it's 5 returning players total, across these two teams here. Yeah, there we go. We got the math sorted out here. Half the roster on average did change here. Huhi at least was a sub for Counterlogic Gaming. We just haven't seen him for so very long. I mean, at least the rest of Unicorns of Love we've seen play League of Legends in the last couple of months.
Yeah.
And I feel like CLG has the upper hand in this matchup because they maintain most of the framework of this roster. They have still the top jungle synergy, for example. They have 3 remaining members. Aphromoo did the majority of the shot calling from what I remember out of interviews. So overall, it should be easy to plug and play Stixxay and Huhi as opposed to Unicorns of Love, whose identity has entirely changed with these 3 new roster pickups.
That's right. That's really the question now. I mean, you've got players like Aphromoo that are kind of the elder statesmen on the team now. Can they keep it all together? And it is time to move on to Summoner's Rifts as the team are already moving across CLG. Able to find Vizicsacsi up in the top lane. They're going to force him back, maybe get a couple early wards down.
And it's just going to be the standard sort of deep invade, getting wards to spot out where the jungle starts. You can, at the very worst, process of elimination the entire thing. And that's really nice by Xmithie. That's a good play because otherwise Vizicsacsi could have auto-attacked, auto killed the ward off. So nice of him to understand the sort of small matchup he's in and play around it.
I would have liked to see a 2v2 because I think watching a Thresh versus Morgana lane is always fascinating. Trading the cooldowns from Hook and Black Shield and then getting in again with the second hook. But it does look like CLG is more comfortable, at least facilitating lane swap here. Dodging that Renekton Fiora matchup that the analyst desk touched upon earlier.
Now, do you feel like CLG initiating this lane swap wants to kind of keep things as safe as they can for Stixxay coming in here? A lot of pressure on this guy to perform. I mean, Doublelift shoes are massive to fill, and I'm speaking metaphorically. I don't know what size his feet are in real life, but Stixxay's got a lot to live up to, man.
I think you can't come in and try to protect him and hide whatnot. I think there's 2 reasons why. One, you're CLG, you just won the North American LCS, you should be trying to stay on the top end of the spectrum, which means you've got to keep playing to win. Also, he's up against a pretty good training wheels matchup there. Steeelback, not a very good laner in his own right, so 2-on-2 wise, it should also be fine.
I'm not sure what went through CLG's heads here, because they actually went for the initial lane swap. They had the wards to see if UOL were counter swapping. Almost feels like a mind game gone wrong, because they only picked up the small Krug here, whereas UOL bot lane got an entire camp on the Grump.
Yeah, we do have that 2v2 now.
Slight improvement though. The new Grump is kiteable, so you can pull it out even farther and get closer to the lane. So waiting for teams to optimize that.
Yeah, that's true. Small gameplay there. Either way, it is still level 2 first for CLG. Yeah. They did 1 small Krug, then walked into the lane right away.
Just started pushing.
Yeah, and then of course it's Tristana, so it's going to be a long time until UOL can trade back. And because CLG has a mini wave at all times, it's very easy to hide behind and never get thresh hooked.
Yep.
Very true. Mid lane battle between Huhi and Fox, of course. Huhi taking a little bit of damage early on, but that Ryze, it takes a while to power up.
Yeah, this matchup should definitely be in Orianna's favor. She's actually notorious for just auto pushing the lane in the early game, and against a champion like Ryze, he's kind of fine with it because he can CS very well on the tower. He has a lot of spells on relatively low mana cost that he can use to prep those minions and to make sure he stays even in CS. And, you know,
Aphromoo hooked right on the Flame Choppers. Black Shields before it. Actually, they didn't quite hook him in the right place.
That play actually temporarily put him outside of the jumpers, I think, allowing Aphromoo to actually Black Shield himself. I think if there wasn't a flay right there, we would have seen the chain CC.
Although, to be fair, the flay kept him from Black Shielding for longer. So, like, as soon as the hook ends, he gets to walk away regardless. So it's, you know, it's kind of like neither way is he going to die. Either way,
is 0
down.
Xmithie coming in. Steeelback throws in the warning. Xmithie over the wall. There's the stun. Steeelback could be in a bit of trouble. Nice play from Hylissang, though, to keep CLG back. No kills yet in this one.
That bind missing from Aphromoo was such a big deal right there. Nice play by Xmithie. He's actually on top of his game right now, trying to cancel out the lantern, but first Gilius coming to the mid lane.
Here we go. Gilius onto Huhi. Fox tries to slow him down a little bit. Huhi on the run. Still has both summoners available. Might have to burn one to get away. Xmithie trying to protect his mid laner. Huhi turns around. He trapped Gilius in the rune prison for the moment. Now Darshan comes down. Zionspartan engaging onto Gilius. Gilius getting very low. Can they possibly kill him though?
Yeah.
I think they can. First blood goes to CLG Darshan.
Yeah, immediate reaction. He had teleport still available because I imagine they started on the left side of the map, so he walked straight to lane, and that left teleport advantage here. Vizicsacsi had to use his teleport to get back to lane early, so CLG capitalizing on that very well, and just baiting it out.
I'm still getting used to calling him Darshan instead of Zionspartan. This is tough to adjust.
I was at least used to it because everyone calls him that in the NALCS studio, so I'm already ready for that name. But first of all, Steeelback missing his summoners. Oh, nice play by Hylissang. Wow. Oh, doesn't pull Steeelback far enough away through the ground, so it will be a kill picked up. Nice attempt in the play all the same.
Sorry, that's what Hylissang's saying right now.
Yeah,
it's like, oops, sorry man, meant to take you a little bit farther. CLG getting a lot of damage done on this turret because of it too.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite moves in the early game, just moving two people towards the bot side of the map and faking the dive. Even if they know it's coming, they lose so much. If they lose that entire wave and a half and the tower damage, the play is already worth in itself. In addition to that, if you burn a flash and a kill, that is such a good move because all you maybe lose in the mid lane is like one wave pushed you to the tower.
And contrast this to what we saw with TSM, who had 2-0 their series, how much more crisp this CLG looks. You talked about the fact that the core of this team is still here, all the big voices, all the important parts are still the same, and you can see these really crisp plays by CLG already 2-0, and they're even happy to focus down on this bottom lane. That turret already nearly dead. Stixxay's lane, he's the new guy.
Yeah, the one moment here, the saving grace for Unicorns of Love will be the teleport cooldown now coming into Vizicacsi's favor. That's going to come up while it's still down for Darshan. So we need to see if they can use that pushing matchup in the top lane. Remember, Chachi was always spending all that time in the top lane, so he should have an experience advantage and a teleport advantage. We need to see if the Unicorns can get a deep ward somewhere and bend that advantage into their favor to start snowballing back, because otherwise CLG is going to get comfortable with his lead.
The thing is, I actually just checked, Vizicsacsi actually not up in XP or in gold despite this 9 CS lead here. Darshan got enough XP from his exploits in the mid lane, so there's no advantages to speak of at all for UOL.
I mean, they've got at least a little bit of time before this Ryze starts to really get scary. Still just stacking that tier right now. Even with 1 kill, 1 assist, he's not putting out a ton of damage at the moment. So they've got a small window, but it's closing already.
Yeah, and if you look at the item purchases, having to go the low econ route with the instant Avarice Blade, while Stixxay is now on 49 CS, the mark of a BF sword generally is 55 creeps. If you do it a little slower, if you're not CSing perfectly, that number obviously goes down due to global gold, but we'll soon see a BF into Avarice matchup. Already 20 CS differential there in the bot lane, so not looking too great for Steeelback and Hylissang.
It's great for Stixxay. I mean, as someone coming in with this being one of his first professional matches in front of this crowd, you really couldn't ask for a better start AD carry versus AD carry.
Gets the babysit though. It helps if 2 people walk into you.
It does.
Go behind your tower, say, okay, we'll burn the flash, get a kill, and walk out. Gets hooked here though.
Babysitting needed. Stixxay in a little bit of trouble, able to get out because of that black shield though. Got to use a rocket jump to escape.
A little bit of miscommunication. CLG's bot lane actually only wanted to push in the wave and get the reset and then get out of there, but Aphromoo was placing a security warder in the brush, and Stixxay he walked out of black shield range.
Yeah, that's the most respect the hook.
Gotta respect the tether range, you know. You always have to be in black shield range, so if you do get hooked, at least you can avoid the trap from walk.
Yeah, Aphromoo is definitely ready to help out. Stixxay, no deaths yet. Aphromoo going to have to do a little bit of support wave clearing, but he's pulling the minions away from the tower, which is going to delay that nicely.
And right now, Steeelback and Hylissang, they don't have the time to push in this wave really, because Stixxay's coming back from base with a BF sword, so they want to base and kind of match that too. So that's the the process is going on in their heads right there.
Right. Darshan duking it out, and Vizicsacsi up in this top lane, and you know, at Worlds, we saw this matchup go mostly in Renekton's favor.
And it is right now as well. You can look at the scoreline. It's going to be like 50, I guess, to 70, but plus 20 CS is still a pretty sizable margin. The gold actually is getting closer and closer despite this first blood goal that Darshan had. So, you know, Vizicsacsi is making up for lost time, so 1,000 gold difference, but we talk about the difference in items in the bot lane, the fact that this turret is not long for the world down there. Xmithie's coming back up to the top lane here as well. It's a lot of good things for CLG.
Vizicsacsi could be in a little bit of trouble here. He's got both summoners available. Looks like he knows what's up. Should be able to escape. We'll see. They're going to try CLG with their best go. Nice explosive.
Gotta be careful.
Whoa! There's a kill onto Darshan. So Vizicsacsi easily coming out ahead on this one. Meanwhile, Huhi finds Fox. Shockwave doesn't hit. He called the ball back a bit too early.
I think he thought his Q was back in cooldown, and it wasn't. I think he expected a QR and was like, oh, I'm a quarter second off. My bad, guys.
Yeah.
I like to read from Unicorns of Love on that one because the play they were looking for initially, let's get back to that later on, but seeing a dive here.
Dive time, Xmithie in a lot of trouble. He's going to go down immediately. Gilius with a kill there. Aphromoo trying to drive Unicorns of Love away from the turret. He'll be able to do that with the teleport coming in from Darshan. Vizicsacsi deep behind enemy lines here.
I don't think he's getting out from this one. Oh, the bind hits, and they get the kill over Darshan. That was actually really big. He wouldn't have gotten any assist credit or anything, so just barely the Renekton surviving long enough gives gold to the optimal place on CLG, and even with that dive going the way it did, it's a 2-to-1 long term for UOL, but the bot turret died.
It was the right move from the Unicorns to cover Chachi in the top lane because there wasn't any teleport wards placed in the bottom, so they couldn't use their strong member to cover their weak lanes, so they made the weak lane a 1v1 farm fest and rotated their jungler and support up to the top lane, so that was good. But, a couple of minor misplays.
Maybe in trouble. It's a 3v1 as he tries to escape. Rocket jump out of the way. Teleport coming in, but they're still going to chase. There's a black shield Aphromoo there to save his carry. Whoa! Mega Rocket not quite doing enough. Gilius has to escape. Stixxay so near death yet again.
That was really silly by Gilius, though. E does magic damage. Black shield was on. There was no chance he was going to kill off double, or I was going to say double of Stixxay right there. I mean, the thing is, he was like caught behind a dead turret, like trying to outplay to get away. It's basically like CLG picked up where they left off, but the fact that turned into nothing is a huge, really unfortunate thing for UOL as mid's getting pushed in, TPs are getting burned, and Huhi's going to be fine.
Vizicsacsi uses his teleport just to force Ryze away. Ryze could be in a little bit of trouble. Hylissang looking for a catch, can't do it. Xmithie and Aphromoo are right there. There's a play. Aphromoo could be in a little bit of trouble. Shockwave uses well. There's a kill for Unicorns of Love. Fox picks that one up.
Really solid by Hylissang. He broke the black shield, or managed to, and then got you know, the rest of the CC in there. Shockwave into the box, no chance to get away. But because Vizicsacsi had to TP into the mid lane to hold a lane up, well, top lane got pushed, and Darshan killed the turret, and Unicorns of Love kind of keep picking up scraps, and they're always a step behind CLG.
Well, they're going to pick up a little bit more than a scrap this time, as it looks like Dragon may get taken. Xmithie thought about coming in there for the steal, but
but even that's not as good as the turret.
Yeah.
Hylissang using the fact that he has a level 3 flay right there to do some damage to the Black Shield, then uses his auto attack, which has a part magic damage. That broke to Black Shield. Immediately the hook came out. So he definitely understands this Thresh Morgana matchup. He has these little intricacies where you basically play around the Black Shield. Gets the hook at Aphro, they get a kill, and a Dragon to boot.
Very nice.
Definitely impressive. 122 is the max magic damage that deals, and Black Shield is only worth 84.
Whoa.
So yeah, I think just a straight auto actually is enough sometimes to do it. Vizicsacsi just bound up in range, can't, or does get away from the tether just barely. He'll survive for now, but I mean, CLG, again, playing the exact same. You remember this from Worlds? Hey, group up at 12 minutes after Tristana pushed down a mid lane turret. It's the same CLG and it's working.
It does sound familiar, doesn't it? Hylissang has to back off just a moment. Stixxay helping push that lane. Turret getting very, very low. I think Aphromoo flashed Dark Binding for that last engage, if I saw that right. That was ambitious. Xmithie coming around the side. Hylissang looking for a grab, and he will not quite get one. I think that turret's gone. Yes, it is. All three outer turrets taken by CLG.
Yeah, we see here miscommunication on the side of Unicorns of Love. Really, like, engage on the hook is fine from Hylissang if your AD carries around. You can then start soaking damage to get damage return from your AD carry. So lack of communication there because Steeelback wasn't there. At the side of CLG, though, it's like we talked about before. The framework is still there. They're playing a similar style with just different players, and the new players seem to be pulling their weight. So CLG comfortable so far in this match.
Do you think part of what was the problem for CLG earlier is that you had, Doublelift kind of making his own moves going on? Never mind, we're going to think about that later. Gilius helping to chase.
Can he outplay
Darshan.
it?
There's a chilling
Doesn't even
smite.
need to. Just press a Q a couple of times. Darshan's fine. Does not repose that one, though. Still getting chunked out a bit, but yeah, just happy to play very aggressively here. Interesting that he's going Black Cleaver first on the Fiora as well. That's actually very atypical. It's a much tankier build. Yeah. And I mean, the thing is, they have a Ryze and a Tristana. It's not like he needs to do more damage, so I'm actually glad to see a bit of an adapted item build on that Fiora.
You know, what I was asking before that gank was, do you think not having double lift actually helps him pull off the strategy better?
That's
No.
under the assumption that
Because-
Double's ego gets in the way of communication that much.
Right.
And you would think an organization like CLG would have at least addressed those problems.
And getting Triss out of the lane, getting the BS or getting to mid requires you to push out your bottom lane. Double is one of the very best laners North America has ever had as far as AD carries are concerned. Now, to be fair, CLG have still managed to win the bot lane without him, so that still worked out. But a part of the strategy is being able to get out of your lane.
I mean, we'll have to see how this evolves for CLG. This is obviously the first game of a new lineup. We don't
Yeah,
really
sure.
know. They did get help too. Stixxay and Aphromoo were assisted there by Huhi and Xmithie roaming down, which came then to the snowball effect from Darshan teleporting mid. So there was this teamwork overall across the board from CLG, really using their resources as a team and getting the key players ahead.
CLG just with all the pressure across the map right now, nice little gold lead, but more than that, getting those deep wards in, pushing down every single lane, taking out the wards of Unicorns of Love. They're going to spot Vizicsacsi right there, a hook onto Hylissang, but they can't really follow that up. UOL should push CLG back a little bit here.
Yeah, look at that deep vision. Deep vision supplemented by 1-3-1 push here. Darshan should be fine in the top lane. He can poke him whenever he wants. If he respects the members coming in, that'll leave Stixxay with some push in the bottom. They've even moved over Fox to the bottom lane already.
Dark Binding, Vizicsacsi has that ult activated. It's going to run out soon. Aphromoo, not hooked. Whoa! Hylissang goes in. Explosive cast pushes Thresh back. They're going to go ahead and take out Aphromoo right away. Darshan in a little bit of trouble. Hylissang gets taken on. There's a nice heal coming in from that ultimate on Fiora. And CLG trades 1 for 1 and still keeps the pressure on this top lane.
That's impressive by CLG to manage to actually turn that one around to anything at all because of how thoroughly caught out he was.
Yeah.
The hook itself broke the black shield, making Flay easy, making the Renekton stun easy, and yet still CLG managed to pick one up.
This is why one of the reasons I don't like putting any points in Tormented Soil on Morgana, because the Black Shield received a small nerf a long time ago, and actually going double point in Black Shield avoids a lot of these scenarios where Flay auto breaks your hook, and at the same time just a straight up hook breaks the Black Shield. So you really want to just put a couple more points into Black Shield early game to avoid those easy outplay scenarios for Thresh, but
Yeah.
Unicorns of Love that did capitalize on the situation.
Makes sense.
Very energetic crowd here in San Jose. Of course, multiple games going on, and looks like American teams are doing well in many esports here today. Darshan TPing in behind, and that's a binding onto Vizicsacsi, but it's Steeelback that is this target. He flashes away, but not much more to do. Summoner heal doesn't mean much with the slow, and Steeelback will be the first kill. Now Vizicacsi's next flashes away, gets out of the skill shot. CLG, 5 kills.
I'm a bit surprised, honestly. Vizicsacsi didn't have his ultimate at the start of that. I thought if anyone was going to go down, it was going to be him, but managed to slice and dice his way out of there.
And all the move speed and damage from Darshan was aimed at the AD carry, and to be fair, I'd rather kill the Jinx anyway, so solid stuff. And still got both with summoners as well, so like an entire waste of summoners by Steeelback.
Meanwhile, check out this replay from the bottom lane. Stixxay trying to keep himself alive, but I don't think that's going to work out.
Nope. Walk
Easy
at him,
kill.
hold the Flay till it's too late for it to matter. Make sure Rocket Jump can't do anything.
Finally,
Correct
in another game, we can say Fox OP. It's 2 games
Nice. It's true. Actually, I don't know, man. Fox is there's a lot of like Swedish players named Fox in various shooters.
now. Oh,
And he tends to be very good at all of them.
maybe quite a few then.
And then also you got League of Legends. So he's German though in this one, but
It's more of a 1v1 scenario, right? Final destination, no items, let's go.
yeah.
Except for Pokeballs.
Yep.
Always.
Always allowed
Always.
Pokeballs.
Yes. Dragon's back, and we'll see if Unicorns of Love can claim their second one, or if CLG can claim their first. First fight in the mid lane. It looks like Huhi, a little bit of trouble. Nice explosive cast. Huhi in a lot of trouble, though. Kill for Unicorns of Love, but one right on the other side. Stixxay picks one up on Hylissang.
Yeah, Hylissang just trading his life. He's not afraid to go in constantly. You've seen him go in and have to flash out, but he's making these plays. He knows if he trades 1-for-1 support for any other role in the game, he's probably doing his team a service, and that allows him to pick up, just another dragon here. Number 2.
Yeah, and as the game goes on, that amount of dragons will get scarier and scarier. Obviously, that 5th dragon stack, super strong, and if Unicorns of Love can get that, they could certainly turn things around. This game is still fairly wide open.
Oh. All as well. Yeah, so Unicorns of Love stacking the Dragons. They're still behind in gold quite a bit, though. 3,000 is a moderate lead, actually, to be fair. They've still not picked up any turrets, so there's some gold waiting to be gained if they can ever win a fight sizably. There's like very easy turrets to kill to tie the game back up, but CLG may not let that happen. Of course, the Ryze still stacking up nicely. 6 stacks in the Rod of Ages. Tear of the Goddess practically full here 90% of the way. So CLG's basically online as soon as Tristana finishes her next big item.
Yeah, what happened to Huhi there? Hang on. Hylissang caught in the river.
Yeah, I think they found Hylissang. This should be a pretty easy kill for CLG. Huhi gets a killing blow on that one. And Hylissang cannot get caught out like that.
Yeah, you have to wonder,
game.
why is he there at this point in the game?
Yeah,
like you have the information. They have enough deep wards to know where CLG isn't. Therefore, by extrapolation, you should know where they likely are to be, and you should not be warding not in your own anyway. So overall, what happened to Huhi in that fight, though, that's what Unicorns of Love are looking for right now. Chain CC, because you can't keep that Ryze alive long enough, because continuous late game damage will definitely be on CLG's side.
Aphromoo, speaking of supports getting caught out, throws on a ward, gets stunned immediately. Vizicsacsi trying to get to the slice and dice. Dodges that Dark Binding. Not enough support to really go through with that one.
Wow. Gilius now coming across. Nice flash into kick. It prevents Darshan from getting an easy riposte in this one. Still more damage coming through. He's going to land this slow on towards Lee Sin and try to get a bit more away. Another Q does not trigger onto Lee Sin, so not a reduced cooldown, though. This could be more. There's the rocket. Riposte the damage, but doesn't even matter. Enough comes through, and a kill picked up on the top lane for Unicorns of Love.
It's pretty sick seeing him riposte that ultimate, but not quite enough. And that's going to be probably the first turn of the game for Unicorns of Love. Looks like it is.
It could turn into more, but CLG happy to make a cross-map play here. Vizicsacsi and Fox by themselves, and wow! Xmithie lands the body slam flash. He's been playing so well today, and a tier 2 turret goes down.
Xmithie's Gragas play, especially his ultimates, have been extremely good all game long. He has set up so many kills for his teammates. Takes one for himself right there.
That's exceptional.
Really is. CLG needs it.
Yeah, CLG seem to be the strategically coherent team in this match. You know, yes, Darshan is getting caught in the top lane. He then uses riposte to buy just a little bit more time. At the same time, CLG in the bot lane just cross-mapping, getting objectives. It's reflected right here. Unicorns of Love have picked up 1 tower, CLG have 4. Yeah. They're definitely playing the map. But we've seen CLG falter, make that one mistake that allows the other team to kind of equalize these towers, and suddenly the goal is even again. So to see if they can actually drive this advantage home. And yeah, body slam flash. I think Fox cleanses here and gets bound immediately again or snared by the Ryze. I'm not sure if you really want to waste cleanse there.
Binding hit him afterwards, yeah.
Yeah, when you're in 4 people.
I think he thought he could cleanse flash out because there's no summoners left on Gragas, but yeah, did not work out. Unfortunate there for Fox as he was dropped, and CLG have actually pushed their lead just a little bit farther now. Baron's back up, and you wonder if they're going to be ready to prep that at all times.
You know, and kind of going on behind all this too, Huhi has been powering up. He's 2-1-3 in kills now. He's had that Rod of Ages done for a little while. He's got the needlessly large rod on top of it. The damage out of this Ryze is starting to get very, very significant.
Oh, it's a really big deal here, especially if you compare the AD carries, just to like continue the trend of who's got more damage here. Completed static shiv to just the average blade is huge, especially because Jinx needs attack speed items to function in rocket form. Xmithie's honestly just going to be fine here. The hook. Oh, actually, this could mean a little bit more. Black Shield's going to keep Xmithie safe, though. He should walk away all right.
That was a close one, though. Even Baron getting in on the damage. Rocket used, but Xmithie's teammates block it for him.
Yeah, the Unicorns need to race mid right now because we have Darshan pushing in the bot lane, and they need to give him incentive to stop pushing and come help his team here in the mid lane, potentially flank. And then at the same time, the Unicorns need to be careful.
Yeah, that turret's going to get taken out. Unicorns of Love claiming their second, and the momentum, at least turret-wise, shifting a little bit here.
Now, one thing I do want to talk about Steeelback a little bit. When he played the North American Challenger Series, he actually added a lot of intelligent shot calling to the team, just his experience playing on the world stage, playing with Fnatic and whatnot. He actually transformed the team pretty much overnight when he joined. Him adding a little bit more control to Unicorns of Love. I know they're not like full CLG status yet, but having Steeelback there to push turrets down and playing a demolitionist like Jinx will kind of help Unicorns play a stronger style if they ever do get ahead.
Our minions pushed all the way up the bottom lane to that inhibitor turret. Darshan on that Fiora keeping a lot of pressure going.
Yeah, we need to see if CLG have learned to perfect deep vision into Baron baits, because it's such an elaborate setup where if you make one mistake in the 2, 3, 4 steps, however you define it, all your work is gone.
Yeah.
Like you really need to push out your lanes, get deep vision, then push them out again, and then use that fog of war to your advantage to do either get the Baron or facilitate a bait. Very often we've seen CLG, or in the later stages at Worlds at least, They did 1, 2, and 3 right, or somewhere along the line, they let somebody slip in one ward, and suddenly all that time you spent in the jungle, not farming, not getting creeps, not getting any experience, goes to waste.
CLG deep in the enemy jungle right now, trying to find a pick. Gilius close by. Meanwhile, a little bit of action in the bot lane as Darshan duels with Vizicsacsi, who has to flee back to his turret. CLG found out in the other jungle, though.
Yep. And now they have to go back and kind of like start pushing these lanes or hover awkwardly around Baron, because look at mid, look at top lane, that both are pushing into CLG. It's kind of the situation you want to go into. Yep.
Yeah, and you mentioned earlier in the cast about Unicorns of Love knowing where CLG aren't. They had seen them come up through the jungle, through that one where they just timed out here, realized, okay, let's hide inside of the jungle, let's wait, they're in there somewhere in the fog, let's chill, and CLG gets nothing from all that time. Look for something else here. Hylissang hasted up, can't find a hook.
Yeah, Darshan, meanwhile, finds Vizicsacsi. Vizicsacsi uses that ultimate immediately. He needs the tanky stats. Darshan, though, waiting. Can he kill him? There's the ultimate he's going for it. Stun. Oh, the flash from Vizicsacsi. He'll escape, but just barely.
Still a big trade in health bars and summoner spells here. CLG are completely ahead on the map, which means they get this dragon. No contest. Number 1 for them by this stage, actually. A sizable amount of stats added to the rosters. That's actually fairly relevant here in terms of teamfight effectiveness now, having a dragon.
Well, that slows down the 5th dragon for Unicorns of Love just a ton, so that is massive, not just for CLG in terms of stats, but for keeping Unicorns of Love from getting any extra edges.
Yeah, but look at how annoying it is for the Unicorns now. Your AD carry and mid laner, who are both late game farm monsters, are farming on the same lane right now, because that top lane that was pushing out, like, there's so many ways have been denied here for the Unicorns, and CLG, while they screw up their Baron bait, so to say, they can walk into the top lane right now, pick up that juicy wave, push it out again, and just keep a gold advantage. We're still looking, just Rabadon's death cap just finished on Orianna here, and just the second item on Steeelback, so we could actually see Unicorns go force a fight, because they know their 3rd item spike will be so far behind CLG. If this game goes on the way it has gone so far, they might actually opt into just a panic fight.
Well, we'll see if that happens, though. Of course, with Dragon off the field, the only thing to really contest is Baron. And if CLG can keep the wards up, they can make it really awkward for Unicorns of Love. Blue buff respawns. Easy pickup for Fox there. Former SK Gaming mid laner now on Unicorns of Love in the off-season and doing reasonably well. 2-1-1 in a game that's quite close in kills.
CLG is being greedy here, though. Look at the people that are in the Baron pit. If Unicorns were aware of this, they could have straight down pushed mid lane, put some pressure there.
That could have zoned those CLG members out pretty well, too, with some deeper wards. For now, though, Unicorns of Love just focusing on that mid lane, but that split push down in bottom lane from Darshan is something they really need to be worried about.
It feels so difficult to push, though. It's an inhibitor turret he's going for here. It's really hard as a melee champion to knock that thing down. Xmithie, yeah, he's tanky at this point, though. He's got nearly a completed Frozen Heart now, so pretty difficult to get rid of him. He's built entirely armor stack. The only magic damage in the team is really that Orianna, and probably shouldn't be Shockwave and Gragas anyway. And Darshan is not getting a lot of progress. He's actually still 40 CS down behind Vizicsacsi, which is pretty impressive that with the game going pretty badly for a while, Renekton's managed to keep the farm doing fine.
Yeah, if you were tracking the minimap there just now, we saw the dot from Thresh. That hook was just wide, moved a little bit in instance. Hylissang actually flashed to try and flay out Stixxay out of his jump, but Stixxay managed to get out of the jump anyway, so Hylissang splashes down.
Oh boy, Darshan dueling Vizicsacsi here in bot lane. Vizicsacsi thought he had an option. Ultimate used, but Darshan has to back away. He just can't fight all those minions and the turret and Renekton at the same time. Oh, or can he?
No,
nope,
he's going to try. No, there we go. Another fight in the mid lane.
No
Hill's not
flash.
getting knocked back into the team yet, and no help either. Easy pickup there. Not much else to do. Now Gilius also rooted up. Shockwave does catch Huhi, though. Can they knock him down? Gilius going to try, kicks him back in. Beautiful play, and he lives a 1-for-1. That was amazing.
Yeah, Unicorns of Love really made something out of nothing there with that kill onto Huhi. I'm surprised they got that.
Yeah, that was facilitated by Huhi, though. That was a bit of a greedy flash. Flashing off Elise with that mobility still online, where they could have just returned for another bait, because the reason that Hylissang kind of got caught there and walked in is just the lack of vision. He walked in and just no flash, and he got punished for it. But then CLG over-chasing a little bit. Bit of a normal reaction. Still that one ward where Aphromoo was basing right now, just kind of keeping the Unicorns safe.
Now, is that him not being able to sweep it, or is that other teammates not putting pink wards down? I mean, I wonder actually if Stixxay even has his on the map at this time, but watch that fight again. And I just feel like with Hylissang dead this early and CLG still having cooldowns, I'm so surprised UOL got anything.
Yeah, they just, if CLG here, though, it's well played. Really well played by UOL, don't get me wrong here. I mean, fantastically, that kick to get out here from Gilius, really well played. But if CLG just retreats to the Baron pit, uses the advantage Fiora has over Renekton, you're suddenly playing a 5v3, 4v3 situation with vision control. That should be another pick or bait, but instead they use 2 flashes and suddenly the Unicorns stay in the game.
I guess it was also Stixxay ulting Lee Sin away when he was probably still in range. Oh, wow.
Well, there we go.
Darshan finally on the 4th attempt gets the kill off on Renekton. Last time they were battling, he actually missed his Q and lost the cooldown reset. That was why he had lost some damage in the prior fight before that last team fight. But now, winning the 1v1, farm or not, that is a really big deal. You're talking about the matchup turning the game into a 5v3 of sorts, and it's kind of happening now.
Well, the death timers are starting to get a little bit higher now, too. So 1v1s like that, I mean, Vizicsacsi really can't be losing those. Otherwise, it gives such a big opening for Darshan in the bot lane.
Yeah, and Steeelback picks up a Quicksilver Sash in a double threat composition when you're already behind. I don't think you can afford to do that. I think you really have to go all out on damage, because even if you QSS a snare, what are you going to do? You're playing a triple threat that already has a lead on you. Yeah, split push is punishing you. Right now we see perhaps an engage in the mid lane.
Here we go, explosive cast used. Hylissang once again caught out, once again killed. That is his 5th death of the game. That could not feel good for Unicorns of Love.
Basically half of CLG's kills right now. And I mean, there's just so many squishy champions in the front line. You have Warrior, Enchant, Lee Sin. You have a Magic Resist stacking Renekton who's facing Fiora in the 1v1 matchup. And Thresh is never going to be a big tank either.
That ward does not spot CLG, but they probably saw them walking in.
Yeah, they know the ward's there. So trying to predict the bait, but right now they have to get anxious though. Start pinging it.
Well, Darshan a little bit cut off from the rest of his team. They're going for the Baron. CLG could have made a mistake here. Unicorns of Love, can they capitalize on it? Baron low. Gilius taking quite a bit of damage from it now.
Gilius
no, he's still
getting really
CLG.
low. He's still stuck in this pit. Finally finds a teammate to safeguard too, but that means it's going to be hard to get back in. He's got a Q in. He's got a chance for this one. He goes! Blue team gets Baron Nashor. Shockwave means a bit more. Fox and Co pick up a couple, but it's still CLG winning that fight 2-1 with Baron.
Yeah, Darshan wins the grand challenge. That heal onto CLG helps quite a bit too. Unicorns of Love really can't push based on low health on the other team or anything even.
Risky play though, having to go smite against the Rocket, Orianna ulti and smite combo Q from Lee Sin. I don't know if I like that play strategically wise, but CLG pull ahead, they do get the smite. Switch it again, yeah. Gilius connects Q,
So
the
risky.
Rocket goes into, I don't know, yeah, Proc's just a little early, not in sync. Orianna ulti actually comes late, so if they sync that up beautifully, that could have been Baron, and then the Ori ulti would have put them in range for the Rocket, so that could have gotten ugly.
Could have been a steal. Could have been.
And that fight could have gone a different way as well. Instead of the Jinx posturing to go for a Baron steal with just the ulti, he could have been landing AoE crit rockets
on the team.
With the Shockwave landing right there. That could have been actually another 2,000 cumulative damage dealt by just auto-attacking twice.
It's a tough choice.
Could have been a different fight.
Yeah, it's tough when the Baron is that low health. You know, what do? You try to win the fight and let them get Baron. Hope you can kill them afterwards. You do go for the Baron.
Yeah, and it's always context sensitive, right? It's hard. Like, this is why the very, very best players and the very best teams will always win these very clutch games, because they can make those really tight decisions. But Unicorns of Love trying to take control of the map back after all the respawns, after the recalls and the lane pushes. They will get Dragon number 3 uncontested, but Darshan could find Steeelback. The recalls are all in sync, though. Nothing to pick up here.
Should be fine.
Nice attempt, though.
Could find a kill here onto Vizicsacsi, trying to slice and dice away. That cooldown's all the way. Nice grab on the lantern.
Oh, but they revealed 2 members here. That's going to be a top lane tower down. Darshan could just easily teleport in, so Unicorns...
Darshan's having recalls. Ryze TP'd, and there's no one to defend this.
Whoa, Shockwave comes in. Meanwhile, a fight in the bottom jungle. 2 fights on the map right now. Stixxay chasing down Fox. Looks like there's a kill actually coming in for Hylissang.
Yeah, they killed off Darshan. Darshan tried to stop the recalls, jumped into a Thresh hook, and as it turns out, Shockwave into Jinx Rocket, just like we saw at the Baron fight, can pick people off. A hero minion keeps him alive. Still not good for Xmithie, though. Huhi goes right back in. He wants Fox, can't get it in CLG, biting off way more than they can chew.
Absolutely, man. I mean, the inhibitor's still alive for Unicorns of Love. They got some kills. That top lane is vulnerable, but it could be worth. Nice dodge by Stixxay. He's going to go after Hylissang again now. Flash, nice flash. Gets a kill. CLG finding something there. Stixxay is looking very good on this Tristana. 4-1-4.
Makes you wonder though, should you use flash like right there? Because you're going to the next fight without the flash and kill is fancy. He's nice. Well played though by him.
You guys got to bring us down, Crepo. We're trying to enjoy the kill.
Yeah, I'm Captain Buskill over here. But it looks like they're going to use the momentum to maybe get the inner, but I don't know. It's tricky.
Did you steal that from Monte too, being the downer at all times?
We'll see. Chilling Smite used. Gilius wanted to be a hero there. Can't quite do it. Darshan comes in. Fox dives deep, gets taken down by the Grand Challenge. Stixxay chasing Steeelback. There's a double kill for Fiora. Now, there goes the inhibitor. Can they maybe even end it right here?
All right, I take it back. Hashtag worth.
Okay, hashtag worth. 33 minutes into the game. The Hook's only going to hit a minion here for the second time in a row, and these guys still finding damage to deal. Explosive charge back on. That is a dead turret for certain, and CLG only have one turret away from themselves in victory.
Who needs a flash anyway, man? The second Nexus turret getting taken down rather slowly, but they still should have enough time to end it. The last brawl happens 2 versus 5, and that is not the odds that UOL wants. Hylissang, the final member of his team to go down before the Nexus falls, and CLG, the new roster, the NA champions, take game 1.
North America 3-0 in games so far here at IEM San Jose. You just got to get us back on home soil, and we suddenly start playing so well, Carpa. That's why Europe did so well at Worlds. You guys got the